Stand by, get ready, here comes a Reggie rant about low bridges and bridge strikes. So, you know, bridge strikes happen, and bridge strikes happen for a reason. Now, let's, for now, get over the fact that the driver should have been watching, he should have known, blah, 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 should have known the height of his trailer, yeah, he should have watched out for the signs, yeah. But it all gets hammered onto the bleeding driver. And I don't necessarily always think that the transport offices have a role in there. Now, the old transport offices, all the old ones, all have bridge maps. Reggie, where are you going today? Blah, blah, blah. Be careful, there's a low bridge. We all have an idea where all the low bridges are, but sometimes you don't. Sometimes, you go to a place and, it would be nice we don't do maps anymore, do we? But I always make a film of anything that comes up in a day's conversation or whatever I bump into, you know that. Well, I was talking to my friend Lance. And as you do, blah, blah, blah. Hello, good morning. What are you doing today, Lance? Oh, he said, Reggie, I'm coming out of Junction 7. I'm going down this 34 and there's a place down here. And he said to me, I haven't been there for years, but I think there's a low bridge. So I said to him, oh, right, okay, I'll check it out for you. So instantly, I ran to the office. I grabbed my Trucker's Atlas with all the low bridges. I found out where we were on the map, blah, 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 what page we had to have. Come down here. I know where he was going. And look at this. He was coming down here and there's a 16-foot. Now, as it happened, it's not going to give him any bother. But there's a 14 6-foot here, look. Oh, so obviously he was aware, he thought there's a bridge down here, he knew. But these people that hit these bridges, yes, and for an example, we're going to pick on, happens to be, we live on the A5, we live, on the A5. Let's follow this A5 down through here, past Tamworth, head along, and here's a bridge that gets hit all the time. This one here is a 15-foot bridge. It's on the A5, one of the main road, London to Holyhead Road. It's on one of the major roads. Okay, they've got motorways now, but it's a major route. So you're on a main road and you're coming along, you're minding your own business, and these people that hit this bridge. So from a driver of perspective, and I'm not Mr. Perfect. I'm you speak to a lot of drivers, blah, 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 and nothing's ever happened to them, and they've done the same job for years and years. Let's say for instance now, you'd spent 3 or 4 years working for a container company. You do watch the bridges because the 20 foot's are 14 foot and the 40 foot's are 45 high cubes. You get a high cubes, it's 14.5 foot, but you don't go much higher than 15 foot. And curtain siders generally don't go to 15 foot, but there is such thing as tall boys, which are that little bit taller. They're not as obvious as a double decker. Now, if you've got a double decker on, you're 16 foot. You've got to watch out. If you pick up a double decker trailer, like I used to run for Focus and they were 16'3", and that 3 inches made all the difference. But whenever I see a bridge being hit, I always think, well, did the office say, right, have you been on this route before? Don't forget there's a bridge going that way. Or if they're keeping an eye on their driver and they're watching the tracker, as a driver, you get to know your routes and your areas, and you know where all the bridges are. Obviously, I don't know where all of them are, but I know where most of them are on most of the routes. So and also you get I always, whenever I see a railway track, see these black lines here, railway track. Whenever I see a railway track on the horizon, I always think, oh, that means low bridge. You know, whenever you see a railway track running alongside it, or if you're running alongside like this, for instance, you're driving along here, and I see the railway track, or I see the railway track go underneath me, it rings alarm bells, because I know somewhere, somehow, if my destination isn't very far away, let's say I was coming up here and I had a delivery in Aspidella-Souche, and I'd crossed this railway here, I'd be thinking to myself, oh, just be aware, you know, it sets alarm bells in your head, doesn't it? So, obviously, foreigners get the word, they can't speak English, but they've got a license and they drive. You've got that. You've got the language barrier. But a lot of the places, the offices, I think it should be mandatory that the transport office or the people that set the routes out are aware of most of the low bridges where they are, or if they go there regularly. You could name somewhere to me, right, you're going there. Instantly, I know in my head, oh, there's a low bridge up that way somewhere. But not everybody knows it, and not everybody sees it. So, okay, I agree, it's 100% the driver's fault if they hit a bridge. But they could do with a lot better help, and there's not, you tell me how many transport offices. I know a few that you could ring and it wouldn't be a problem. For instance, now, Steve Walker, from when we were on the walking floors, he was the boss himself, and you'd ring him up and you'd say, where the hell am I? Because he'd spot you on the tracker. Where the hell am I going? And is there any bridges? And he would know himself. He'd say, oh, Reggie, blah, 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 go this way. But watch out, there's a low bridge down there. Keep an eye open for it. That's all you want. You just want somebody to say to you, there's low bridges in that area. You know, look how many low bridges there are here. Let's go. If I had a delivery to Skipton, say, obviously in a perfect world, we're just picking this because it's on a map, and I've just seen there's a whole load of bridges around there. If I sent a driver and I knew he had a 16-foot trailer or even a 15-foot trailer, or I knew he was going to a place and there was only one way in, you know, like there, look. If you were coming down this, if you had a delivery on that roundabout there, well, you can't approach from this road because there's a low bridge. You'd have to go round, or if you were under 15, you go this way. You would know, wouldn't you? You would know, sort of thing. Oh, don't, be careful. If you're going to that Skipton, there's a load of low bridges. That's all you need to tell the driver, and he's aware. So, it's wrong that they hit the bridges. It's completely the driver's fault. He should have been watching. He should have been looking. But also, the organisation that tells you to go to these places should have a certain responsibility to say, right, you're going here, you'll be going down the A5. Remember, there's a low bridge down the A5. The people that go regular, you know, or that's my opinion. It's not. It is the driver's fault, but it should be mandatory that every transport office or every person that gives instructions should at least have one of these, or be aware of one of these, or have this to hand so you can ring up. So you know you can come. You've seen a low bridge, you haven't got your map with you. The trouble is, sometimes the setting in the TomTom isn't right, in your sat nav isn't correct, or a lot of drivers use phones. Part of the problem is they use their sat navs in their phones. Maybe the sat nav doesn't work, blah 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 blah. You all resort to the phone, don't you? And the phones don't put low bridges. They don't think about it, do they? So my rant is, I do feel for these people that bit the bridge, because you don't do it deliberately. You don't want to do it, do you? Obviously, they've made a mistake, but that mistake isn't on just the driver. It's part of the address. It's part of, sending a new bloke on a new run. Have you been there before? It's part of the old boys telling the youngsters, oh, be careful up there. Like what just happened now. We're having a conversation where you're going, oh, instantly. There's a low bridge that way. How heavy? How high is it? Oh, I don't know, Reggie. Right, I'll find out for you. So I went to the office, got the book out, had a look, was able to confirm it, and as it happened, he's already there and was already on the case. But it's so easy because it's you just get given a set of keys and an address, and there's so much. The CPC. Recently I've just done this CPC thing. There's so much BS. Other things that are less important about driving and driving standards, and they don't mention or concentrate on bridges or what you do, or it's just mad. So anyway, that's my rant. Yes, it is the driver's fault when they hit a bridge, but it could have been helped with a bit more help from the offices, transport offices, knowing the addresses and being aware of, right, be careful that way. Yeah. Anyway, rant over. So here's a for instance for you. Oh, if anybody tells me you're going to Newtown and I'm 16 foot, I cringe. Oh, absolutely cringe, because what happens is you're coming, this is the main road, Welshpool, Newtown, Aberystwyth, you're on the route, right? And there's this bloody 15-foot bridge here, and what you have to do is you have to come into the town. Let me get a pointy thing, hold on. So, just picking on Newtown because I know it. If you're coming through Newtown, you have to come up here, and this, can you see this? This is a housing estate with a little school, and you have to come up here. You have to come behind the bridge here. You have to come through the housing estate, and you have to come out through it, and you pop out the other side of this damn bridge, this 15-3 bridge. Look, it's a nightmare. Anybody's mentioned Welshpool, Newtown, that route, where you're going today? Oh, now if you know about it, fine, but this is a main road. You're coming along an A road, you're going to wherever you're going. Say you're going to Aberystwyth for argument's sake. You're going along, and look at that. And most of these places you can't turn around at the spot. You have to spot it so early to watch. If you miss the sign here, you are foobarred. You know what I mean? It's not heavy traffic, but traffic does go that way. But you have to come up here and turn up here, look, and go through a housing estate. I think it's a council housing estate, past a school, and you have to work your way around back here. And then obviously here you'll pick up the signs and you'll cross the road and it'll bring you out. But what a stinker, Newtown and Welshpool. Oh, over the years and years and years, certain destinations that you're either going through or you're going to, there's a bridge. But not everybody does that, because of course it takes you 35 years of roaming all over the country, going everywhere. It's obviously it's called experience, but they don't. And I know that's why a lot of firms like older drivers, because we know we've been and we've seen, But the culture has changed, and they don't help young drivers. New drivers are virtually thrown out on their own, and it doesn't help. You know what I mean? There could be a lot more support coming out of offices if they could be bothered, if they're interested. Get a good transport manager, it's not a problem. Get a good transport office that look at the addresses where you send them. Has this driver, is he an experienced driver? Is he a new driver? Right, where's he going? Okay. And part of their thing should be who am I sending? Where am I sending him? Is there any dangers in there on his way that we can avoid him? Because it would save a hell of a lot of money in insurance and all the rest of it. So like I say, I do have sympathy with the drivers that hit these bridges, because they don't do it deliberately, you know. They could have been guided away from it. Here's another place. Here's another place for you. Just for instance, you're running 16 foot. They say you're going to make a delivery in Worksop. Oh, instantly. Worksop? There's a bloody low bridge at Worksop. So let me just show you. If you say you had a delivery up this road, you had to go there, say for instance, it would make sense that you come up and you go across here and look, there's a 15 footer there. If you're on the motorway over here and your destination is Worksop, look how this railway line cuts Worksop in half. And if you know where you're going, you know what to do, it's fine. But if you've just got an address and your sat nav is just taking it to this address, so you're coming up the motorway, M1, junction 30, signposted Worksop, yeah, on the A road, yeah, main road, and you're making your way across. Where did I see that one? Just you're making your way across, and look, making your way across to Worksop, which makes sense. And look at this, 14'3". You can't get into it. Well, then what do you do? Where do you go? Oh, if only known, I would have come this way, or I would have come another way, or I would have come down the motorway and come up this way. Until you get there, you are foodboard. Where there's another one that's famous. Where did Maggie Thatcher come from? Hold on, I'll show you another one. There is another one for you, Grantham. Nottingham. You've come out the Midlands, Nottingham, you've picked up your delivery is, say, Sleaford, something like that, for instance. So you come along, you pick up Grantham signs, you head away along, you're coming along now, minding your own business. Got some good tunes out, you got your mirror glasses on, get your arm out the window, la 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 la, right. Now, if you know, you know, but if you don't know, what you have to do is you have to come down the junction and come back in here through it. But let me just show you. Here you are, minding your own business. And you've missed the sign. Or maybe because the bushes, now this time of year, the bushes have grown over the sign, or the sign's not clear, you've missed the sign. You know, so you're carrying on because you know you've got to come up here in the 52. And you come here, it's 14'3". 14'3" right before the island. And this is a bit of a downhill. It's a nightmare. You can't turn around here. There's a sharp bend and it's a downhill slope into this. Well, we'll probably go Google Earth at it for you. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll Google Earth that in a minute. What a stinker. Now, if you know, you know. What you've got to do, come here. You've got to go down the A1. Down just one junction. You've got to come off. And then you've got to come in this way. Yeah, you've got to come in this way. And then you can carry on your journey on your A52. And if you know, you know. But if you don't know, you can get yourself in a right. But this is, everybody knows about Grantham. Everybody. But it should be that the office should say, where are you going today? Where are you delivering to? Oh, I'm doing to Grantham. Or where's your route going? And they've got it in your head, blah, blah, blah. You'll be going here, you'll be going there. And then you've got to pick up in Sleaford. Ah, that means going through Grantham, doesn't it? Yeah, watch out for that low bridge in Grantham. This, let me take you to this with Google Earth, this Grantham. So, let's do the exercise. You've done your delivery in Nottingham. Now you've got to come across country and you've got to go to Grantham. So here's Grantham. You've come across this road here. There's the motorway. This is the road you'd be approaching on. Minding your own business. Got your tunes on. Blah, blah, blah. Let's just see. Now there's no electronic protection. Most of them don't work anyway. But you've come down here now. Okay, let's see. let's do a little visit. Let's stand here and let's have a look. Where are we? We're about to go over the bridge. Yeah, this is the M1 underneath us, or the A1 underneath us. Now, you are come on. Come forward a bit more. Keep going. Is there a high bridge sign here? Look at that. There's no high bridge sign. There's no low bridge sign. The only way out of it is that way. There's no low bridge sign there, right? So it doesn't take you. Whoops. We're going the wrong place. Let me get you. Let me go and find the low bridge sign. So you're 1.5 miles away from Grantham and you're on the A52, which is the main road. So, you know, off you go. At this roundabout, do we have an opportunity to turn around? Does it say low bridge? Oh yeah, it does say low bridge there. Yeah. But if you've missed, let's say you've missed that sign. You know it's there, I know it's there, I've pointed it out to you. But for argument's sake, you know, you've took a phone call, whatever, you've missed that sign. If you go down here, you are in a world of pain. Yeah. Let me get you closer to this bridge. Moment, let's just you've crossed the motorway, you're headed into Grantham, you're on this roundabout. We were talking about this roundabout, weren't we? So let's go there again. Let's visit this roundabout. Which way are we pointing? We want to go that way, don't we? Where's the low bridge? Which way are we going? Was that the low bridge sign? Yeah, we want to go that way slightly, don't we? Right. So, 7 out of 10. No, it's not that one then. It's not that one. It must be that one. Let's have a look. Let's go around there and have a look. No. Oh yeah, see? Let's go that way. We're on the 52. Hold on, let's go back again. So yes, the sign is there, but if you were watching a cyclist or a car had tried to come in here, or there's a car coming around the inside of your roundabout, if you're watching anything else, let's say you were distracted for this exercise and you just, you didn't know about the bridge and you didn't happen to catch this sign that said 14'3". Let's carry on. Yeah, let's carry on to a world of pain. The road curls around and it goes under this little bridge here. So let's, for argument's sake, let's go there. Let's start from there. Here we are. You come around this bend, doing, you know, on your way. So let's say you spotted this sign. But can you see, look, you see how it's hidden behind the grass? This springtime, this time of year, and this explains exactly what I'm on about, is, look, the council don't clear. How hidden is that? How hidden, how still hidden is it? You know, look. So you've come around here. You're going down here now. Let's go down here. You're still going. You can see where you're going to be. You see a roundabout. Here we go. You come here. And just before the roundabout, you start to see the signs. And you go, oh shit. Oh, what am I going to do now? You come around this bend. And there it is in front of you. And there's no way you're going to get underneath it. There's no way. And how the hell are you going to turn around? Remember, you've got a 40-foot or a 45-foot trailer. You're 55-foot with your unit. They don't even help you by you know, making this a flat area so you can at least spin around. It is a nightmare. You get stuck down here, and let's look around. Look behind me. Let's turn ourselves around. You've got this behind you. Oh, dear me. So there are certain famous places, and you're on the main road. You're on the A52, you know what I mean? Yeah, you can get yourself in on the A road, A52. How dare they, in this day and age, put a 14-foot or allow a 14-foot 3 bridge on an A road just outside the town? Because I'm going to show you, because where we want to go is just outside of it. So let's go back to the map, shall we? Let's go back to the map. There, look. So the right way in, if you know, you know, if you don't know, you are stuffed. That's how, there we are, over there on the motorway. So what we should have done, there we are, just before the motorway, here we are. We should have gone down here. No, over there. We should have gone down here. Yeah, we've come along. We should have turned right down here, which is completely not natural. You know, this is going the wrong way. And you come down this motorway here. You only go a short spell. And then you catch this junction here, look. You come down here. And then you come off at this junction here. There are. You come off this slip road. And you come down here. And then you go right. And then you do a left into the town. Head back off to the town. You go up the town. Go back into the town now. Yeah, we go across here. Now this is also, but you can go through the middle of this. Is arches. This is, come on. This is an arched bridge. You can go through the middle. And just under here, let's Google Earth this here. What we're going to do, put a little man there. Let's have a look at this. There we are. And what height is that? That's a 15-foot. Oh no, there's another one. We can get out. You wouldn't get under there with a focus. Yeah, 15-foot there. So it's crazy. It's crazy. There is another one. I'm trying to remember. But yeah, like I say, it's not easy moving around. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you are foobarred. I'll show you another one, which is in London, South Circular. Here's another one waiting to get you. This is London. Now, you know, London, there's lots of bridges, and, you know, I'm just going to do the obvious. So you've got the M25 goes around it, fine. We know about that. But then there's an inner ring road, which is South Circular. This is pretty good along here, but it's in pieces. And then you end up on the South Circular Road. And here, look, can you see this one here? 15-foot on this, which is part of the South. If you're coming around and across and coming around, if you're working your way around because you want to come over the bridges, there's a 15-footer here. Where are we? There, look. Stinking 15-foot bridge. On the inner ring road, do you know, the North Circular and the South Circular, you get trapped. There's nothing on the North Circular. You can go all the way around here. It's not a problem. You're making your way around. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you can get yourself in real big bother. Yeah, and as we've seen, the signs, the busy roads, the transport offices, they don't help. They don't help. So I do feel for these poor buggers that get caught below bridges. Here's another one. And I'll try and find the film, but Carno, if ever you're going to Carno, what a stinker this is. Because we, in the containers, Carno, which is the old Laura Ashley factory. You see how much the distance there is between the roads, between the distances. If you're over, if you've got a 15-foot trailer and you want to go to Carno, you cannot get. You've got to go all the way around, way out of your way, and come in here and squeeze under this 15-foot 3 bridge. 14-foot 9, 16-foot. So if you want to go to Carno, some places are just, if you've got a 16-foot 3 bridge trailer, you're not going to get under, are you? So yeah, some of these, I stop and lower my suspension down to get under this with the containers. Yeah, to get in there because we go to Carno. But yes, you can get into real bother coming up here. And the A470 is the main, one of the main routes to get up through Wales. There is no, as you can see, there is no motorways. If you're going up country, coming up through mid-Wales, you've got very, very few options. If you know, you know. If you don't know, I think one time, many years ago, I got stuck on this route here somewhere, and I had to back into somebody's driveway, and the trailer crashed. Luckily, it was in the middle of the night. I got to this bridge, couldn't find nowhere to turn around, found this gateway, put my arse end into this wide gateway to a house, crashed all his driveway and drove off. Yeah. That was many years ago. Because if you've got a high bridge, if you're over here and you want to be down here, you've got no option. You have to come out in through Shrewsbury, down and back in again. There is no good route through here from, say, North Wales to South Wales. There is no good road. It's an awful, terrible route. You have to, the quickest way, even with a car, you have to come out into England, come down and go back in again. Yeah. And you lot still want your goods there for 9 o'clock in the morning.